In the hours before dawn, when Dubai exists only as a constellation of amber and white light suspended above the desert floor, the penthouse on the 94th floor holds a particular kind of silence. It is not the silence of emptiness. It is the silence of a world carefully arranged, of marble cooled by climate-controlled air, of floor-to-ceiling glass that separates the interior from the vast, breathing darkness outside, of curtains so heavy they absorb even the suggestion of sound. The city below pulses with the low, constant rhythm of a place that never fully sleeps, but up here, the pulse is slower, softer, more deliberate. And somewhere in the middle of all that curated stillness, curled against the edge of a custom-made cushion positioned beside the bed of Sheikh Omar al-Rashid, Charlie breathes. He breathes in small, even rhythms, the particular breathing of a French Bulldog at rest, that soft, almost musical cadence that owners of the breed come to recognize the way sailors recognize wind. His compact body rises and falls. His paws, pale against the dark fabric of the cushion, twitch once, then settle. His ears, those wide, bat-like ears that catch every frequency of the world around him, lie flat and relaxed, folded slightly at the tips. In this moment, before the day has made any demand of either of them, Charlie is simply present, fully, quietly, completely present. Sheikh Omar stirs before the call to prayer reaches the penthouse windows. He has always been this way, awake before the world asks him to be, as though wakefulness is a discipline he has practiced for so long it has become instinct. He sits at the edge of the bed in the grey pre-dawn light, his white thobe draped across the nearby chair, and for a long moment he does not move. He simply looks at Charlie. There is nothing performative in this gaze. No audience, no protocol, no expectation. It is the look of a man taking inventory of something he values deeply and quietly, the way one might look at a photograph, or at the sea, or at a sleeping child. Charlie, sensing the shift in the room the way animals always do, lifts his head. He does not bark. He does not move with urgency. He simply looks back, his dark eyes catching what little light exists in the room, and that is enough. That exchange, brief, wordless, entirely sufficient, is where this story begins. The morning unfolds the way mornings do in a life built around ritual. Sheikh Omar moves through the penthouse with the unhurried confidence of someone who has long since made peace with his own space. The kitchen, a room of white stone and brushed brass, of appliances that cost more than most people earn in a year, comes to life with the particular sounds of early morning, the low hiss of an espresso machine, the soft percussion of cabinet doors, the measured pour of water. And through all of it, Charlie follows, not anxiously, not with the desperate, looping energy of a dog unsure of his place. He follows the way a companion follows, at a comfortable distance, always within sight, always attentive without being intrusive. He settles beneath the kitchen island and watches from there, his chin resting on the cool stone floor, tracking the Sheikh's movements with the patient attention of someone who has learned that the most important thing is simply to be nearby. Omar prepares a small plate alongside his own breakfast, a few pieces of carefully selected protein, cooled to the right temperature, arranged without pretension on a ceramic dish. This is not performance. There are no cameras here, no guests, no staff observing the gesture and noting it. This is simply what he does every morning, in the unhurried privacy of a life that belongs entirely to the two of them before the day takes over. He sets the dish on the floor and steps back, giving Charlie the space that Charlie, by nature, does not require, but that Omar, by instinct, always offers. There is dignity in that small gesture, the understanding that even in care, even in affection, there is a kind of respect that must be extended. As the sun rises over the Gulf, it does so with the particular theatricality of Dubai mornings. A slow amber ignition that turns the glass towers of the skyline into something resembling lit monuments, the desert beyond the city catching color in long horizontal bands of gold and rose and pale ochre. The penthouse terrace catches all of it. It is an enormous space, terraced stone, low furniture in the palest of linens, a shallow reflecting pool that mirrors the sky with the precision of a still painting. Plants, chosen for their ability to survive at elevation and in heat, grow along the perimeter in oversized planters. And here in this high open wind-touched space, Charlie stands at the glass balustrade and looks out. What he sees, or what he registers of what he sees, is impossible to know with certainty. But there is something in his posture in this moment, something in the stillness of his body, the slight forward lean, the ears angled outward to catch the wind, that suggests a creature fully inhabiting its world. He is not restless here. He is not searching for something beyond the railing. He is simply present in the way that only animals and the very wise manage to be, entirely within the moment, without the weight of what came before or the anxiety of what comes next. Omar stands behind him, coffee in hand, and watches the city wake up. And for a few minutes neither of them moves, and the terrace holds them both in the same quiet. The middle hours of the day belong to obligation. Sheikh Omar's world is one of meetings that span continents, of decisions that carry weight, of a professional life that demands not merely attention, but a particular kind of sustained, high-stakes presence. He moves through those hours in the way men of great responsibility do, with focus, with composure, with the practiced ability to be entirely elsewhere while remaining physically in the room. Charlie, during these hours, does not follow him into the formal rooms where business is conducted. He understands, the way dogs understand things that were never explicitly taught, that those spaces belong to a different version of the man he lives with. Instead, he occupies the quieter parts of the penthouse, the library with its low light and the particular scent of old paper and leather, the sitting room where the afternoon sun moves across the floor in slow, warm rectangles. He sleeps. He watches. He waits with the effortless patience of a creature that has never confused waiting with abandonment. There is a moment, on this particular afternoon, that deserves its own silence. Sheikh Omar steps out of a meeting that has run long, that has asked more of him than it should have, and he walks into the library, not because he intended to, but because his feet carried him there. He finds Charlie asleep in a patch of late afternoon light, his body fully surrendered to rest, one paw extended toward the edge of the carpet as though reaching for something in a dream. Omar stands in the doorway for a moment. Then he crosses the room, and instead of sitting in one of the leather chairs, the chairs that are by all measure perfectly suited to a man of his bearing, he sits on the floor. He sits on the floor in his white thobe beside his sleeping dog and leans his back against the lower shelf of the bookcase and says nothing, and does nothing, and for a few minutes simply exists in the presence of something uncomplicated and true. Charlie wakes briefly, registers the warmth beside him, and without ceremony repositions himself so that his side presses against Omar's leg. Then he sleeps again, and Omar stays. Evening arrives the way evenings arrive in the desert, not gradually but decisively, the light shifting in a matter of minutes from gold to amber to a deep, bruised violet that settles over the city like a held breath. The penthouse catches the last of it through the western glass, and for a short time the entire interior is washed in a color that belongs to no other hour. Charlie paces the terrace in this light, his pale coat taking on the warmth of it, his shadow long and distorted behind him. He is more alert in the evenings, more curious, more exploratory, moving from one edge of the terrace to another with the methodical interest of someone conducting a slow inspection. Omar watches him from a low chair, a glass of water untouched on the table beside him, and there is something in his expression during these minutes that is difficult to name. It is not quite contentment. It is not quite longing. It is something in between, the particular feeling of a man who has built a very large life and found, in the middle of it, that the things that matter most to him are very small. The walk, when they take it, happens in the building's private garden, a landscaped space at street level, accessible only to residents, designed with the particular aesthetic of somewhere trying very hard to feel like nature. There are palms and low ornamental grasses, and the sound of water moving through a narrow channel of dark stone. At this hour, the garden is mostly empty. Charlie walks on a lead of soft leather, but he walks it the way confident dogs do, not straining, not pulling, but moving with the lead loose and his attention distributed broadly across everything around him. He investigates a border of flowering plants with the focused deliberateness of a researcher. He pauses at the edge of the water channel and considers it. He navigates a curved stone path with small, precise steps that suggest a dog who is accustomed to surfaces that require attention. Omar walks beside him, and they move together in a rhythm that has been worn smooth by repetition, neither leading, neither following, simply moving in the same direction at the same pace, each attending to their own version of the world. Later, when the penthouse has returned to its nighttime quiet, and the city outside has settled into its late evening hum, Omar sits in the main living room with the lights low. Charlie lies beside him on the wide sofa, technically not permitted, technically ignored, his body half draped across Omar's legs with the unself-conscious ease of someone who has never once doubted his welcome. The Sheikh's hand rests on Charlie's back, moving occasionally in the slow, rhythmic way that means nothing and means everything. The gesture of someone finding in the simple act of touch a kind of stillness that the rest of the day could not provide. The television is on somewhere, its sound low, its images unimportant. What is important is this: the room, the light, the breathing, the warmth of one body against another, the particular quality of silence that exists between two beings who have learned each other completely. There is a version of this story that emphasizes what Charlie has: the custom furniture, the prepared meals, the square footage, the altitude, the view. That version is true, in the way that surfaces are always true. But it is not the story. The story is what Sheikh Omar found in a creature small enough to carry, quiet enough to be overlooked, and perceptive enough to see past everything that wealth constructs and status maintains, directly to the man beneath it. Charlie did not choose Omar for his power or his penthouse or the particular quality of the light on his terrace at dusk. He chose him for the same reasons all dogs choose: presence, consistency, warmth, the willingness to sit on the floor. And Omar in return found in Charlie what the largest of lives sometimes cannot provide: a relationship without condition, a loyalty without agenda, a companionship that asks nothing more of him than that he simply show up, which, every morning before the city wakes and the obligations begin, and the world reasserts its many claims upon him, is exactly what he does.